Once upon a time, in a small but vibrant community, lived a young lady named Adana. Her parents were not rich. In fact, they could barely afford the necessities. But what they lacked in wealth, they made up for in hope. Adana was a bright girl, always full of dreams and determination. She believed that no circumstance could limit her destiny. When she finished her primary education, something miraculous happened. Through hard work, scholarships, and grace, she gained admission into one of the most expensive schools in their community. Everyone wondered how a poor man's daughter could step into such a place of luxury and prestige. But Adana didn't care about their whispers. She promised herself that she would make her family proud. Though she often went without lunch and sometimes walked home barefoot when her shoes wore out, she never gave up. She studied harder than anyone else, staying up late under a flickering candlelight when others slept. In the end, her efforts paid off. She graduated top of her class, a first-class scholar, celebrated by her teachers and envied by many. But life after school was not what she expected. Jobs were hard to find, opportunities were few, and love, the one thing she wanted most from her father, never came. When Adana was a child, her father had taken her away from her mother after their separation. Though she grew up in his house, she never felt his affection. She tried to earn it by being obedient, by achieving, by succeeding. But no matter how hard she tried, he never looked at her with love. The emptiness grew. She smiled on the outside but was breaking within. The once strong Adana fell into depression, quietly drowning in the weight of disappointment and loneliness. One day, her mother Ngozi, who had long been separated from her, came to visit. When she saw her daughter, she broke down in tears. "This is not my Adana," she said softly. "The Adana I know shines like the morning sun. This is only her shadow." Ngozi held her daughter and spoke life into her heart again. "My child," she said, "you've been fighting alone for too long. It's time to heal. It's time to let love find you again." With her family's encouragement, Adana agreed to go for treatment and therapy. At first, she was afraid to open up, afraid to face her pain. But as the days went by, she met other people who shared their stories, their battles, and their victories. For the first time, she realized she was not alone. Slowly, she healed. She began to smile again. She learned that self-love was the foundation of all love, and that forgiveness, even of her father, could set her free. When Adana finally returned home, she was a changed woman, confident, peaceful, and full of light. Doors began to open. She started a small business, which grew into something great. Her brilliance and compassion attracted people, and soon she met a kind-hearted man who loved her deeply, not for her success, but for her soul. Years later, Adana stood on the porch of her beautiful home, holding her baby in her arms, while her husband played with their other children in the garden. Her mother often visited, her eyes filled with pride and gratitude. Adana had once walked through the fire, but she emerged refined like gold. She learned that life's pain can become the soil where strength grows, and that no matter how dark the night, the morning always comes. And so Adana lived the rest of her days with joy, peace, and purpose. Proof that when a woman believes in herself, even broken dreams can bloom again.